So I wanted to go back to that time travel idea that I mentioned a few weeks ago. There is yeah, I did it again. Wow. I really gotta get a handle on that. I really do. But there is an idea that I knock around my brain every once in a while with time travel, and that is the gold rush. And that's always been weird to me that in history, like, they point out history, I guess, like I would assume, because they want to make sure that we don't do the horrible things of the past, but then this one thing about money or whatever just stands out. And I was thinking, if we get the opportunity to time travel in our times, or I guess since I'm saying this now, it could be a record for future people that actually have that technology somewhere down the way, that... So, furthest point to furthest point, right? Like, you want to... Because it was saying that it started in late January of 1848, so I would probably say, just to give a little bit of leeway, so that you don't accidentally run into somebody and start things off a little too early, because you don't know how that would affect things. You maybe go to December 31st, 1847, and you take all of the gold. Now, like, how long is that gonna take, right? So, and you don't really know for sure. I mean, sci-fi has warned against not meeting your other time remnants of yourself, but, so I've had a theory with that, too, because a little bit of branch from the main topic. Yeah, a little bit of branch from the main topic. They have said that if you go back in time, you're not supposed to touch yourself because the physics, like, you would explode, or you would cease to exist, or you would mix with yourself, or whatever. And I want to point out the fact that your cells split, divide, and die all the time. So after a certain period of time, like, technically you aren't the same person. So, but going back to that, let's say that you can use a whole bunch of different time remnants of yourself, right?
Hello? Can anybody hear me? My name is Eileen.
Wait, Fisk, like, Wilson Fisk from Spider-Man and Daredevil fame? You know, I haven't seen too much of that. I've seen... Oh, wait, yeah, I have to... Because, yeah, there would be things from that way, right. So, I've seen Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, in Daredevil sense, but I haven't seen him fight. Ah! I'm trying to keep them all together, and it's not working as well as I need it to. Please don't, like, clamp down on me. That would be just the worst. But anyways, you go back in time, and then you keep going back in time second for second, like you want to plan this out if you're going to do a big heist or whatever. And you help all the different versions of yourself clear that whole area of gold, and then... I'm not exactly sure which other time you would want to go to, because the other step of it is depositing the gold in the bank. You know, checking that the gold is authentic and putting it all in the bank. The next step would be to steal it all from the bank at night, and you want to do it from the furthest point forward. And then when you succeed, keep going back in time, and then back, and then back, and then back. Because if you're going to keep doing it, if you keep going forward, then they would know who you are, and they would know that you're stealing that stuff back. So they would catch you. So you want to go from the furthest point, I should say the latest, and then go backwards. And then, yeah. Or wait, do you want to steal all the gold, or do you only want to steal half of it? Just to, I did not think that you were still alive. That really got me. Oh, and now my health is... Okay. I've got to think about this. I don't want to go forward. I want to... Wait, are there other things? Because I'm hearing things. But then again, my health is, like, barely a sliver, so I might just be choking on myself. Trying to think. Well, I'll use the medium one. Like, usually I don't use the bigger ones unless I am in a pinch, which I think I am right now. Alright, and then, because the the thing with time travel, it's like having a money-generating machine if you do that, and then if you look up all the different banks that were active in that period of time, then you can do it for one bank, and have a log so that, like, say that you get tired, say that you get exhausted and you want to stop what you're doing, you end it on the full rotation, and then you do the next one after that and just keep it in your log so that you know when you've been. And then you just go down the line and you do that with every bank. And then the grandfather clause, the one that allows you to keep money in a bank forever, or whatever it is, I think it's essentially that. I looked that up too. It was 1950 something. It was the mid-50s. So you put all your old money in the bank from that, and you just start gaining interest. I mean, like, why not, you know? But now that I've thought about that, and now that I have talked about it, I wonder if that's going to start a chain reaction, or maybe people already thought about it, you know, like, because that's one of those big things in history that they teach us about money. One of the biggest money events that ever was. So I'm sure that any potential traveler would have the same idea that I would with the gold rush. I mean, I can't be so conceited that I think that I'm the only one that would have exclusive mining rights to that. Like, how many potential time travelers think about the gold rush? And then I was also kind of wondering, after I went through all of that in my head, again, it's probably like once every 2 or 3 years that it goes through my head. So I go through it again and try to check the schedule, and I try to check the math and try to figure out how long it would take for me to talk to everybody, how long it would take them to test the gold and everything, the whole transaction, and try to shave it down second for second so that I could do it more times. After all of that, I wondered if time travelers think of the gold rush and so they go back to it, or is it like time travelers started the gold rush? I feel like it would be a loop, you know? We know about the gold rush, so we go back and try to cash in on it. But because we go back and cash in on it, that's why the gold rush starts in the first place. Oh yeah, this. Yeah, I tried to re-record the last video. Oh, alright, I missed that part. Yeah, I tried to re-record the last video because I didn't notice, I never notice it when I do it real time, but how many times I was saying, yes, I do apologize for that. I really don't know what happened with that, because and it doesn't happen when I'm talking with family, and it doesn't happen when I'm talking with friends. It just happens here. But then I re-recorded last video, and it was all emotionless, and it was all lifeless, and then I recorded this part, and I didn't notice that she had fallen. I thought that she was just not there, and I was going off on how games should have hallucinations a lot more, because then you really can't trust what's going on. Was this the new thing? Oh, yeah. Okay, so that was nothing. It was just a list of names. I used to think that was really neat back then, that they would use the names of the people that worked on the game as, like, medical professionals or the list of the dead or whatever, but now everybody does that and it's kind of gotten stale. See what this is. Science log from Dr. Kine, T, Chief Science Officer. Attention, Captain Matthias B. Benjamin. Further to our previous conversation, I ask that you delay bringing the marker up from the planet for a day or two. You know I'm as keen as anyone to study it in detail, and I understand your sense of urgency, given the events on the colony. But that's why I ask. What's happening down there is just too unique, too unprecedented to cut it short without proper time to study the causes and effects. In light of a discussion I had with Dr. Mercer, I'd like to meet with Drs. Sclorello and Welland, planet-side, to get their observations. Terrence. Oh, and there's a save station here. Alright, good. Awesome. What was, yeah, there was another couple topics that I had written down, but, like, the one of them is stupid because it's just, how many rulers would it take attaching them together to make a properly working plane? And it's like, where do you go? What could you possibly do with that? And then the other one was...
Dr. Kine reporting. The colony's problems concern me greatly. I have no doubt they are...
Okay, alright. I can multitask, I guess. What is... I'm trying to pay attention to what they're saying and what I'm saying too, because...
Incidents of violence and even murder also indicate extreme paranoia. Dr. Mercer advised that I bring somebody affected on board to study. Dr. Welland, the planet-side psychiatrist, has reported that his own analysis has been fruitless. I'm hesitant to rely on Dr. Mercer at this point, but I need his expertise. We need solutions, and we need them quickly.
Oh wow, that timed up pretty well. Oh jeez. Alright, so where do I want to be for this? That's not an explosive. Yeah, so two things. Yeah. Two things come up in this. The bats, which can, it looks like they can revitalize corpses in a quick way, and because their revitalization, their resurrection is so quick, maybe that explains why they're so fast. They're also supposed to be twice as, I wouldn't say strong, but twice as defense, twice as durable, I guess you could say. This is probably, like, the hardest one to deal with right now that I can think of, because the way to kill them, to render them inoperable, is to stomp their limbs off, but with the wings, the way that the physics work, I mean, you gotta remember that this was made, there we go, in 2008. So it's got this weird arching kind of thing. And you try to stomp on them, but your foot slides off, so it really only works half as well as it does for everything else. Oh, wow. You just look burnt. Yeah, that's why, that's why I wanted to do this. Like, I know that in my, well, a couple recording sessions ago now, in Trials of Mana, I was talking about, I was talking about zombies and why they're always bad and why can't they be better. And this is about the standard that I do it at, because, like, I don't remember how long it takes to have that log where they're discussing exactly how the things reform. It's like an alien disease that is kind of radiated from these artifacts, and when you die, your body gets repurposed to, like, you know, your lungs aren't usable anymore, because why would you need to breathe if you're undead? So they just make them strong like bone. What is... okay. Medical log, Dr. Domus G. Medical examiner, report of death on ship, subject Captain Matthias B. It is my sad duty to officially announce Captain Benjamin Matthias dead. Reports of the exact circumstances surrounding his death are conflicted and beyond the scope of my role. I can only report on the body. The subject was in generally good health for his age, though a cursory blood test indicates his leukocyte count was very low, with eosinophils in particular almost non-existent. His pre-flight physical exam showed no such problems, indicating rapid onset. However, it is unlikely this had any effect on his death. Multiple contusions on the arms and hands, indicating a brief struggle pre-mortem. Slight contusion around the rib cage, suggesting his chest was restrained in some way. Cause of death was a single prolonged trauma to the ocular body, which continued on through the cavity wall and finally into the frontal lobe, causing rapid neurotrauma, seizure, and death. The force required to puncture the ocular cavity in this manner is great, and the possibility of self-infliction correspondingly low. I therefore have no alternative but to record a preliminary verdict of unlawful death. Whether deliberate or accidental is beyond my jurisdiction. Sorry if those seem long, it's just I really want to get into it because I know it's gonna get, like, stupid crazy the more chapters go. Let's see here, what is this? Blood writing on the wall, it's all in symbols. I wish that I had a translation for this, because that was one of my favorite things on Artemis Fowl. Like, I don't remember anything else on the series because I read it when I was young, but there were fairy symbols, what they called fairy symbols, around the edges of the pages. And I think maybe like halfway through the book or near the end or whatever, there was a translation page so that you could go back and discover those hidden treasures in the book. I'm just going back up to deal with that one room that... Are you dead? Okay. 'Cause I know that I killed you, but... who knows if you're new or not. Sometimes they do that to you. Where was the one... Okay, while I'm trying to find that room that I have to unlock, I know it's in here, never mind. I know I'm already, like, right up close to it. There we go. And enemy? Ooh, ammo. Okay. Schematic for line racks. So now I can buy that ammo. I was trying to... Wait, actually that could be a discussion for the next one. Alright, so I'll leave myself in here. Like, comment, subscribe. I hope that you have enjoyed this. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm so glad that this went better than the last one, which means that I have the motivation to continue. I will see you tomorrow.